Hello, my name is Tylluan Penry. I'm a solitary pagan witch. I'm an author and the founder of the Wolf and Howl Press. And this evening's talk, well, we're coming up towards Yule and the Solstice and Christmas and however you decide to celebrate the holidays or not celebrate them, what have you. A few ideas, a few thoughts in this short video. I think one of the most important things is, as witches, we need to, or pagans, we need to distance ourselves, if you like, from the commercialism of Christmas, of the solstice, of Yule. Even within the pagan community now, there is a tendency that it gets a bit commercialized and we start getting caught up in something we're not entirely comfortable with. I know I do. You know, I have people saying, oh, what is your Yuletide altar going to be like? Well, I have no idea. I'm not even sure I'll have a Yuletide altar. I don't, you know, for me, an altar is something, yes, I do have an outdoor altar, but the idea of having to have an altar for this and an altar for that, not necessarily. I don't think it's always necessary. I don't think it's always appropriate. And I think sometimes we need to back off from this and say, hey, you know, we're solitaries. Well, I am. I mean, I know a lot of people who listen to this are also solitaries. But we're solitaries, you know, let us do things our own way. We haven't got a coven, a group, a congregation. We don't need an altar. I think what we need to do are little things. One of the first things I would suggest is that we try to be kind during this period. You see, to me, the whole thing about Yule, the Anglo-Saxons had the month of Yule, which was December, and January was after Yule, which suggests they had a massive hangover and were trying to get over it. But there's this wonderful idea, this wonderful sense that somehow you celebrate for quite a long period of time and then you get over it and let yourself down gently. That's not what happens nowadays. What happens nowadays is people go headlong at it like a car crash. And then when it's over, whoops, you know, let's go for the Boxing Day sales or whatever it is. And there's a tremendous sense of anticlimax. And I think we need to really try and sidestep this. Really try and say, no, that's not the way we're going to do it. So as I said, I think one of the first things, one of the most important things for us is to try and exercise kindness and compassion. You see, one of the problems we have in trying to be kind is that we have been conditioned by 2,000 years of Christian thinking. Now, this is not having a go at Christians, far from it, but I do think there's a big problem. I think there's a problem for many people with the idea that you have to give everything. You have to give till it hurts. Most people can't or won't. Let's be honest. And so because they can't or they won't, and because nothing they do is ever going to be enough, they do nothing. You know, it's like the old joke about painkillers, isn't it? Nothing works faster than whatever your name of painkiller brand is. Nothing works faster than XYZ. Therefore, take nothing. And it's the same thing. So let's get away from that idea. We're not going to give till it hurts. We're not going to give everything we have because we still have responsibilities. We still have family. We have ourselves to feed and clothe and what have you. So let's give something. However small, let's give a little. And I think if we all gave a little, it could be a massive movement. So that's my first thing. Let's give a little. You know, find a local charity or something that needs help and give something. Doesn't have to be a lot, just give something. So that's the first thing. The other thing I would strongly recommend is creativity, which we've talked about in an earlier video here on YouTube. Being creative is a very important part of the spiritual path. So I think that's something we need to look at again. Anything we can do, any small thing, we can try and be creative as a means of moving beyond the everyday world, of moving into this wonderful world of creativity, which is something altogether different. And a creative path goes very closely with a spiritual one. And something I find is very useful, particularly at this time of year, it seems to happen for me, is what I call reflective writing. Now, reflective writing for me is that writing I do before I get to the stage of writing a ritual or writing a spell. People think you just scribble down your spell, that's it. No, it doesn't work like that. Not for me anyway. I like to really think about it, plan it out and what have you. And I will often do reflective writing beforehand for rituals and spells. And then by the time I've got to my spell and my ritual, I have distilled down exactly what I want from that piece of reflective writing. And I don't often use the reflective writing as a whole. I usually shorten it, make it much more concise, much more accurate as to what I want. Nevertheless, I do find that my reflective writings can be great fun, and I've actually got a book coming out later this month, a little booklet, which is called A Little Book of Inspirations, which is a book of my reflective writings over the past 15 years, just some of them, just ideas. But I thought I'd share this little one with you now, just to finish up on this talk, because to me it very much captures the feeling of this month coming up to Festival of Yule. And years ago in the UK, we had wolves up until about the early Middle Ages. The bear was extinct in Roman times. And yet I still feel there's a memory of these great creatures here. And I live on the side of a Welsh mountain. That noise is my dogs. They're having I think one of them's having a bad dream. Anyway, and I think there's this memory of them. And I was going to start off by writing Once Upon a Time, because I don't know what it was. I had some sort of idea of a ritual that was based upon fables and fairy tales and things like that. And it didn't come out like that. What I actually wrote was this. Oh. There they go. There she blows. Wolf upon a time, long ago, when I was smaller than a stone and Grandma's street was iced with snow, there I'd gladly go, there I'd go. Curled up by the fire, I was king of the steaming, singing kettles, while dragons marched the fiery deep, guarding jewels and precious metals. While Jack Frost on his bicycle went... Oh, hang on a minute, I've got the clock joining in now. There's chaos here, honestly, sometimes. Hang on a second. Wait a minute. And it's going to strike the hour, so that will be fun for those of you who've listened before. It's 8 o'clock at night. 3 o'clock according to the clock. Oh well, right, let's get on with it. Let's go back to the beginning. Wolf upon a time long ago, when I was smaller than a stone and Grandma's street was iced with snow, there I'd gladly go, there I'd go. Curled up by the fire, I was king of the steaming, singing kettles, while dragons marched the fiery deep, guarding jewels and precious metals. While Jack Frost on his bicycle went pedalling through the lanes and scratching icy messages on all the window panes. Wolf upon a time, long years ago, there I'd gladly go, there I'd go. I can't remember what the ritual or spell was that I eventually finished up with, but that was the piece of reflective writing, and I've always loved it, and I hope you enjoyed it too. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch up again soon. Goodbye.